Welcome back to another episode of Shake Your Truth podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kamika, and today we're going to jump right into a topic that affects millions around the world, the obesity epidemic. This is a very important topic, okay? And it's complex. There's a lot of issues that go into this, and it touches on areas of health, society, and personal well-being, as well as emotional well-being, okay? Whether you are joining us for the first time today, or you've been riding with us for our short little drive, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I'm glad you're here, and let's get started, okay? So, the first thing we need to do is understand something. We need to understand the difference between obesity and being overweight, because I think a lot of times people use them interchangeably and they're not the same. Well, medically speaking, okay? We're going to define obesity and overweight both medically and everyday terms, okay? Medically, being overweight is defined as having a body mass index, that's the BMI, between 25 and 29.9. While obesity is defined as having a BMI, body mass index, of 30 or 30 or higher. Anything starting at 30 and above, that's considered obesity. In simpler terms, being overweight means having more body weight than what is considered healthy for your height, but not to the extent of being obese. Okay? It's too much weight, it's kind of a concern, but it's not to the point of what we consider obesity. Obesity implies a higher degree of excess body, okay? And this significantly impacts one's health in daily life. So while there's more emphasis in the health world to talk about obesity than being overweight, which I don't think we should skip over the overweight people too fast, because they quickly become. So, the more serious watched by medical professionals who are the obese, the ones greater than 30 BMI and have a lot of fat on their body, and more weight for their height. And you might hear of them talking about the fat. Now, this is fat that's around your organs inside, and it could be very dangerous. And we call this adiposity, okay? And it's sometimes interchangeably used with obesity, but when we're talking about the kind of fat that's dangerous, when you see an obese person, we're talking about adipose fat, okay? It's important that we know that there's health conditions involved with the severity depends on how much adipose fat they have and how big they are, the BMI, and underlying causes, genetic, things like that. So people have a lot on their shoulders. So it's very important to be respectful language when you're discussing these conditions to avoid the stigmatization, okay? Because we know that being overweight and obese is frowned upon in the society, and there's a lot of social bias that comes. Now, we're going to get into some factors that contribute to the obesity pandemic. So, the causes of the obesity pandemic are numerous and multifaceted. Let's explore some of those major factors. First one I want to talk about is high calorie and low nutrient foods. So, they're high in calories and low in nutrients. Our diets today are often filled with foods that are very high in calories, but very low in the essential nutrients that we need. You know, fast food, those sugary drinks, processed snacks, they all fall into this category. And these foods contribute significantly to weight gain. Okay, and then we're going to talk about another factor, the portion size. Over the years, portion size has increased, leading to higher caloric intake. So what you're being served is becoming bigger and bigger amounts when you go out to restaurants. And so you're finishing all of this food, and then that same behavior is done at home. We're filling our plates up with more and more food. And it seems like the more and more food you buy, the bigger the value is to your pocket. Okay, so larger portions can trick you into eating more than you need because there's so much on the plate. You want to finish the plate. Now you want to do as much as you can, even if you can't finish it, instead of eating into your food, putting it away. Okay? And then a sedentary lifestyle is also a major contributing factor. Many of us lead sedentary lifestyles by the definition, whether it's due to you having an office job, a work from home job, and you have excess screen time, or you do some kind of device where you're not having to move, you do some mechanical device or something like that, that is labor saving device, you are less active. Okay? And the lack of physical activity means we burn fewer calories throughout the day. So we're consuming more calories, but we're having work that is less physical. So we don't burn those calories that we're eating. So this is contributing to the weight gain. And then a lot of people skip over this, but there are some genetic factors that play a part too. Some people are more predisposed to gaining weight due to inherited traits that affect their metabolism and people skip over that. Some of these people, they're going to be bigger than most. I'm not saying that everybody who has all these genetic components will be obese, but it's going to take a little more effort on their part to stay at a normal weight because of the genetic factor. And they may not be even aware that there are genetics. Okay? And emotional eating plays a big part too. Many people turn to food for comfort during times of stress or boredom or sadness, and this leads to overeating, which in turn leads to weight gain. We also use food for celebration, for reward to our kids, to reward ourselves for something we did good. We use food a lot of times to affect our emotions, either sad or happy, because we celebrate. We get a birthday, we get a anniversary, or we go out to dinner. We graduated, and it's always food involved in our emotions, whether it's a good emotion, a celebratory emotion, or it's a sad, stress, depressed. A lot of times we still use food in those situations to help with our emotions or to celebrate our emotions. Okay, so socioeconomic status. So people with a low socioeconomic status have many, many, many limitations. Okay, so they don't have all the access to food that would be deemed healthy. There's a more abundance of processed food in the area. There's way less fresh food or ways to get fresh food, either that be a farmer's market or a good grocery store that carries a lot of fresh produce and a lot of low processed foods. They're not really in the low income areas. So people are forced to eat what's available to them. And this can lead to more obesity rates because you have nothing but processed food and you don't have a great amount of fresh food. So it's affecting how well we can lose weight because of access. Okay, so now then we can talk about we're supposed to limit these with our nutrition. According to most nutritionists, we should limit our desserts, our access to. We shouldn't have so much desserts around. But when you go into the store, it's just convenient to get dessert stacks. There's donuts right there. There's honey bun. There's cinnamon roll right there at the register. Or first thing you see when you walk in a convenience store. And sometimes people come in hungry, or it's the first thing they see, so they're attracted to it. So 9 times out of 10, you might pick up something that you see right in front of you when you walk in or on your way out. There's little donuts, cakes, and things like that, candy bars, and different dessert snacks at the checkout. So you might just pick one up. Or the end caps will have cookies and or cereal and things like the sweet desserts and sweets. And this is also contributing to why people gain so much weight. And social or cultural norms. Cultural norms, like more than social norms, cultural norms participate in how we shape our dietary habits. Okay? So you eat how you do because of your culture, your tradition was been passed down. Most people make generational adjustments, but if it's starting out from the beginning as something not so healthy, is as you pass it along, you're going to carry those same things with you. And it started off not so healthy, but those people back then, they walked around more, they were more physically fit, or they had less sedentary lifestyle. And you keeping that same amount of calories back then, you bring it up to now when we don't move around as much and we don't have to walk as much. Our access to cars and different transportation. So you're picking up weight. And for that, with the rewards and emotions, our cultures celebrate with food. Most cultures do. Like I'm saying, I have a Sunday dinner. After you go out to church and spend time at church with the family, you go home, there is a big Sunday feast. And that's once a week for most people. And if you have two sides of the family that you have to go to, that may be twice a week. So, and that's just like in regular American culture, not to mention any other ethnic cultures that you may have, depending on your parents were from another country, or even if you are just a person of color and you have an additional family gathering that you do that's extra outside of the Sunday dinner or family dinners, then that adds to how much of the bad diets that we have, right? So, yeah, so some of that stuff, you're not going to change who you are in your culture based on your food, but you can change the food. You don't have to change your culture. You can still be the same who you are, but you don't have to eat the food in the same way it was cooked, like 100%, and you don't have to eat the amounts that they give. You can be a little, your plate could be a little scarce. It doesn't have to be full. It doesn't have to be in abundance. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to toss out their culture, but we might want to make adjustments based on our health. Okay, and then right on after that is medical conditions and medications. Certain medical conditions, like if you have a thyroid problem, or Cushing syndrome can lead to weight. The thyroid is an active and as well as it should, you're producing less thyroid hormone, your metabolism. So you start putting on weight. And it's opposite if you have hypothyroidism, your metabolism speeds up and you'll see people losing. And some medications, like some of the antidepressants and some of the antipsychotic medications, also cause weight gain, and that's one of the side effects of the medication, weight. So life happens to everybody, and sometimes you need these kind of medications, or you have this condition that's causing you to gain weight. And there's going to have to be some discussion and some kind of intervention plan on how to treat you and how to help you while you're experiencing this weight gain from your condition or from the medications you take. Some adjustments might have to habit-wise and or medication-wise might have to make some adjustments. But the doctor will weigh the benefits to you versus the risk. If it's, it's very hard to say which one more important. Like if somebody has hypothyroid, do I want thyroid out of whack things, or do you want to keep gaining weight, which can cause some other things as well? So it depends on the severity of the person, and this is on a case by case basis. I know your labs may say one thing is better than the other. Your physical exam may lead to benefit one or the other on the other side. So the doctor will have to weigh those benefits and discuss it with you, and you guys decide what is the right plan to go about when you have a medical condition or you're on certain medications that cause you to gain weight. Sleep plays a lot of role, plays a big role here too. Sleep is needed, and a lot of times we are all operating on very little sleep in today's society. People get very little sleep because not only because of the demand of work and schedule and not having the right planning system, it's because we also have entertainment all 24 hours a day in our, not just in the TV, but in our hand and our phone. So people have bad sleep hygiene. And this is contributing to weight gain as well because your the sleep you need to your body operates on a certain rhythm or circadian rhythm. Okay, so in these times of sleep, you get to regulate your body, you regulate your hormones, and that control hunger and your appetite. So if you're always up, those hormones may not be able to do what they do, and then when you're deprived of sleep, that feeling of hunger, you're always up, you're going to be more hungry and all those factors are really complex. They're really complex, and it shows how there's not just one thing that's causing this epidemic today. And that's going to bring us to addressing this social bias and stigma that's been placed on obesity. There are so many complex issues that I just talked about, all contributing to the fact that of people being obese. And most society just sees it as being lazy and just an abundance of food. And it's not just that. You see, it's a bunch of complex. So now let's talk about the biases and the stigmas that obese individuals face. Bias against obese individuals include discrimination, negative stereotypes, unfair judgment, and they often, because of all this, like you said, they're often seen as lazy and having lack of willpower. They're not competent to do what needs to be taken to lose the weight. And that's not true. That's far from the truth. A lot of these people are not lazy, okay? And it's not about willpower. They have, some of them have things that's fighting against their tries to lose weight or what they're trying to do, the plan that they're making is bouncing off some other complex issue that they have. Like we said, hormonal thing or genetics. Some of it is not just about not moving. Some of it is about genetics and hormones and other contributing factors that go into it. It's not about that they just haven't had enough will to do it. That is not it. It's far from what is true. In overcoming these biases, we're going to have to start educating people on what I just said, the risk factors. Now, do people need to slow down and have smaller plates and all of these things and with the eating and increase their physical activity? Yes. But I don't want people to go around thinking that these people are just incredibly lazy as to why they got in that fat or why they became overweight. Okay, so as we said, it's a complex thing. Influence is why we become obese. So it's better to encourage this person or people you know. Have some empathy for them and understand why these things happen. It's not just one thing. And that's very crucial, okay? And then it doesn't help that the media represents these people, they're portrayed as those lazy, shiftless individuals, okay, in most movies. And that's inaccurate. And it's not compassionate to how they feel. And I feel like a lot of obese people's emotions are thrown out the window and people don't care about how they feel because they're like, well, you did this to yourself, okay? And we need that's just not the truth all the time, okay? So we need to have some compassion for these people. And why is obesity often seen with such unsympathetic? Why do we see it as a plague or some kind of thing that repulses us? Why are we so unsympathetic? Why is it seen in this light? Why is this condition not as sympathized as like anorexia? Oh, I don't know. But it's true that obesity is frequently viewed as a result of somebody's choice. They want to be like, while anorexia is seen as a severe mental illness beyond one's control. And this perception it leads to more sympathy for the anorexic person and less for the obese person. Shows like My 600-Pound Life can perpetuate the unsympathetic view of focusing on dramatic stories rather than the underlying issues. People often watch shows like My 600-Pound Life, and it's entertainment. They want to see what's going to happen to this person week after week, and how ridiculous it is that they don't want to lose weight, or laugh at what the doctor says to them without trying to lose weight, or how they just sometimes are in a world of denial and they don't rationalize that they're not eating correctly, or they are overeating. They don't think that they eat too much, or that what they're eating is not good for them. So it's been as entertaining watching people go through those issues, and the doctors telling them, trying to make them realize that. And it's funny to a lot of people. But you imagine if the show was called My 90-Pound Life, and we watched people that's in the home, they're recluse still, just like the 600. They don't get out a lot, and they're very it's small, and you can see every bone and everything like that. Would that be funny? Would that be entertainment? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I really don't think anybody would enjoy watching that. But I wish I wish society had that same compassion for this person who is obese. Because if you just think that people are obese because they have a lack of will, and that's why they got that. Well, the opposite is having extreme willpower and getting that small. And you can empathize with that. But they are still both medical condition that also they both have psychological and emotional conditions. It's a food addiction on one end too as well, and neither one is healthier than the other. They're both equally unhealthy, and so they both deserve our attention. They both deserve sympathy. They both deserve for us to try to help and advocate for them as much as we can. Okay. So, is there something that could change this? Is there some strategies for change or for hope for these people? Well, addressing the obesity epidemic requires a multifaceted approach. And they're going to take many, many things and many, many people to change their mind about things and come up with some guidelines of how we deal with these obese people. And there are some changes with medicine. There's become a new specialty all about obesity management and geared to just treating people that are obese instead of having them grouped together with the diabetics or with the people that have cardiovascular events, because a lot of times they have both, or they're seeing a liver specialist because they have fatty liver. Now there's obesity specialist or obesity medicine. So that is a step forward in today's society. We have doctors who are studying these people and studying the condition and have a more empathetic view of them, and they're working to get more insurance coverage for their condition, more health, more information out there, and they're advocating for these patients. So now that we have that new, it's probably not even that new, but it's being more doctors going out to get this certification or this board certification. You'll see more nurses being specialists in this, and you'll start seeing more pharmacists being specialists in this obesity medicine. And so as the care team grows more knowledgeable about this, maybe they start the advocacy for this condition and bring it more forward as a health condition instead of as a societal stigma, or then maybe that could take a step in the right direction of how obesity is viewed and maybe change some of the biases. Okay, so Along with that, we can have some public campaigns, public health campaigns. I know Michelle Obama started some of this when she was first lady, and that was just probably a little step in the right direction. But being that this is an epidemic and it's affecting so many lives and so many families, and as a big medical cost, we should do some things that can raise awareness and educate people about healthy habits. And the campaign should promote a community initiative to reduce obesity. We need to put this in schools. Schools play a crucial role by providing meals, and it's where kids get educated. So you can learn more about it, okay? And you can have physical education and wellness training so people can look at the whole person. And we should have classes separated for those kids who are severely obese. Because I know from personal experience that being able to do all of those things that are standardized tests for PE to pass PE can be a little bit of trauma for the person because the teacher is trying to make them do something that they can not physically do. Okay, so there may need to be a separate PE class for those heavy kids. Just like when you go to a trainer, they're not going to have somebody that's 500 pounds doing the same thing as somebody who's 180 pounds. They just can't do the same things, not at the same speed, and it's going to be a longer process to get there to do what a 180-pound person is doing. So the same is with our children. There needs to be a separate PE class for those people who are severely overweight or obese, and they need to have an instructor, just like we have a new doctor that's focused on obesity medicine. We need to have some teachers, or just like we would with a special education class. This can be a part of this because this is a handicap. They're not able to function or they're limited in their movement. So there needs to be a separate class for them. Okay? But if we instill these healthy habits into the kids while they're young, it'll be much better for them when they get old. They'll have a more knowledge base to pull from. They'll have experience from a youth, not having to learn these things as an adult. They'll be more apt to do what doctors ask them to do, and they'll be more health conscious. So it's very good if we can even start this at kindergarten so that we can have the kids have a better attitude about food and have a healthier relationship with food. Okay. Now, community initiatives would be perfect. Like I said, in some of these socioeconomic areas, low socioeconomic areas, they do not have access to healthy, fresh foods. So a community initiative could be like having farmers market multiple times a week where they have the fresh vegetables and everything, good produce for people to buy that's not available to them in their grocery store. And we can also have some recreational facilities, some walking trails, some, group meetups, bike trails, things like that. Stations in the park for people to do exercises. They can have weight training, things like that. But the community can be involved, is what I'm saying. They can be involved. It can be something that we do as a community and not just an individual. It is for it to be a part of our new way of doing things. It has to be on a community, national, state level. It needs to be something that is cared about by everyone. And the training of how to think and support to give needs to be from everybody and for everyone. We can't do this. We can't stop this epidemic with just a small change within certain groups. We need to do this on a national and make it a part of our life in our society and can become more knowledgeable so that we can get rid of these biases against our people and we can be an aid to them instead of a hindrance. or instead of calling them more trauma. Now, individuals, they need to change themselves too, on a personal level. They need to make the small changes that they need to do. They can, step by step, manageable changes. These little bitty steps that they take, they will have a bigger impact in the future. So, on the individual level, these people do have to participate. We can't do it for them. So, they have to incorporate physical activity. And once we get knowledge and training on nutrition and what is healthy and what is not healthy for you, what is good for you based on your medical history and your genetic makeup, we can do those things. And they still have to make the choice. They have to choose the balanced meals, okay? And they have to find healthier ways to cope with their emotions. So this will take maybe some time with the therapist or someone to talk about what your other problems. Some of this is due to trauma and due to life in general, just weighing down things. And you may need medical attention when dealing with those. Okay, so if we can't cope with those things that we're doing, or that have happened to us, that we've done, anything that we're having a problem dealing with, we can't really cope. We have to find a way not to use food to soothe ourselves, okay? We got to find other ways of support. So we join a wellness program. Get involved in a community of wellness, people that are not just about getting off the weight. They want to see you as a whole person. They want to see you well in your mind, body, and soul. And that weight is just another part of it. It's not the beginning all the end all. You want to be a rounded person. So get involved with some of those kind of programs and seek guidance from the healthcare provider. That if you need additional help with your emotions, you need to see somebody who specializes in that. Just like we're saying, get somebody who specializes in obesity medicine because they understand you. They've done the extra work to understand how to treat you well. And with them advocating for you, you may have a better outcome, okay, than you would with somebody who does not have the never been trained in depth at these people in obesity medicine. Now that this is becoming a growing specialty, seek a healthcare professional that does this. If you fit the criteria of being overweight or obese, find a practitioner who specializes in this. They'll be the best person to advocate for you, and they'll understand your condition completely. Okay, they'll provide the necessary support and motivation. Okay, they've done the work to know this disease state completely, and they will be the ones advocating for you the loudest in the medical community. So let's not forget to support one another. So if you're doing this as a family and you have multiple people in your family that have this condition, support one another. Don't make it a competition. It should be a you versus you competition. You versus you, not everybody else. But you support each other. You champion each other as a family. And support the ones you know that are in the same situation. And that will be some kind of accountability as well. Okay? So there's a lot of power in support. Okay? So get into a community, get into a coaching program, get into virtual or be actual in person, but get into a community of people like you, or if your family members are in the same thing, get together and support one another through this journey. It's very hard to do something this life-changing alone. And just like with any other health condition you're trying to improve, you need some support. And just like if you have an addictive problem, and whether any other kind of addiction, it needs the support. And this one needs that support. So, I wanted to talk about some success stories that I want to share. The success story is really inspiring. This woman named Sarah who struggled with her obesity for years, and she joined our wellness program. and she got some nutritional training, and we gave her some exercise plan, recommended an exercise program for her. And with the support that we gave her in the community, it made a significant difference in her lifestyle. And she started to lose weight. And she couldn't do it before. And she tried, but she wasn't successful. She saw small little changes. They did happen, but nothing was ever sustainable. Okay, so she would lose weight and gain it back. But now through the program that we implemented, it's a whole person program. It's about you as a person, not just this one thing of losing weight. Her health has improved a lot. And her journey was initially about losing weight, right? But through what we went through with her, identifying what was the cause, getting to the root of that, and checking out all her concerns, behavioral concerns, habits, where we looked into her emotional concerns, and we looked into her schedule, her life, how she did things, how she managed her time, and as well as how she felt about her self-development. Once we did all of this work, she was able to kill those little chaoses outside of her weight. And that alone supported her being successful on the way. She got her plan together so she could prioritize this weight loss. Okay? She got her support together with her family, and she joined our group, which was another support. And they decided as a family that they were going to do this together. So she had a tremendous amount of support this time as well. And she got confidence from her. She got confidence. She got her supportive network from her family and from the group. She got the encouragement she needed. She got the nutritional training that she needed. Sometimes people don't understand nutrition at all. You're just telling them to do this and don't eat this and don't eat that, without telling them the science of why it works. And sometimes once you break that down to people, then they can better see the benefit and they can buy into what you're saying. So she went on, she got her confidence together, and she had her support system with her, and she had the knowledge base of how to do it successfully. She's been keeping off her weight. She lost 100 pounds, and she's been doing great. And Sarah is just one of many persons that have made that choice. But like I said, it's a choice that a lot of people want to make, but there are some complex issues that sometimes hold it back. And the most important thing is we identify the cause, the root cause, the first thing that's the problem, and we settle each of those problem areas step by step. Is the best way for people to find sustainable weight. It's not going to happen just by starving yourself. It's not going to happen by just having a surgery or just having a medication, because even with a surgery, even with the medication tools, if you don't have a change of mindset about your whole life, you're going to pick that weight back up again. So it's very important that we talk weight loss in terms of the whole person. So I want to thank you for sitting with me today. This is the end of our show, the end of our podcast today, and I want to just thank you for spending time with and listening to this deep dive into obesity and the obesity epidemic. It's clear that addressing these issues requires understanding, empathy, and a comprehensive approach. By promoting education and supporting each other and making healthy choices, you can see that some differences can be made. You can make a difference. We all can. There can be a difference. We can make a dent in this obesity epidemic. Okay, we try that comprehensive. And to everybody who's listening to this program, all of our listeners who listen all the time on this short car ride we've been on, I hope you find this episode informative and empowering. Remember, everyone's journey is unique. This is a you versus you situation. And small steps can lead to big change. So keep making those small steps, okay? And stay tuned. We're going to have some more topics we're going to explore more important health issues and wellness topics and self-development. And if you have any questions or you want to share your story, or you know somebody who has a great story, feel free to reach out on social media at Dr. Kamika Baylor on IG, and that's Dr.KamikaBaylo on Instagram. And if you want to share it with us, we'll be happy to help. Or if you have any questions, we'll be happy to help. So let's continue to support one another on our journeys toward health and wellness, because on this podcast, we talk about weight loss, we talk about self-realization, and we talk about self-development. Until next time, I want you to stay healthy and take great care of yourself. All right. Let me not forget, before I let you go, I want to give you a book recommendation. Like we always do, we have a book. So the book I wanted to share with you guys is called Fat Chance. Beat the Odds Against Sugar, Processed Food, Obesity, and Disease. And this book is by Robert H. Lustig. Again, that book is called Fat Chance. Beat the Odds Against Sugar, Processed Food, Obesity, and Disease. Is Dr. Robert H. Lustig. All right, guys. See you next time.